Assalamualaikum baden jibe al mbal konton rek ka fale Gambian Talents TV al bole jibe kan alla yud Bantaba show leng me yalon ko akola nyanta kanale dorong a yud Bantaba show nying atamu sholti me yalon ko a funding ke wal kangol nka wala nati purun ni kacha amo platform ni ko aka mol ma ko le ni na funding ke wal mel yalon ko wala be tamar kendol ke kan sinya kendol ke kan na satel kono ka joko na satel be keno la nyamen sate kendol ti ambe tano nyato nyamen fana ka joko fana funding ke wal be dabula no la nyamen ani nata mansa kundalo ko wala ni nata fan an satel la development to abi ngamen nata le wala Modou Ceesay ata multimealon ko ka family youths against irregular migration ata fana multimealon ko dabol la kono nasa kacarek ka nyinin ka la ni organisation no nyin amina masillu asim fanyinti anin itol ka mun do ko si falake ni nata Gambia bonko ka Modou misebule ni mole nyokonto.
Thank you very much for reaching out to me. Like I said, my name is Modou Ceesay. I am a migrant returnee and a member of Youth Against Irregular Migration National Chapter. And then thank you very much for reaching out to us. Basically, Youth Against Irregular Migration is an organization that was founded by migrant returnees, Gambian migrants who were on their way, on the Backway. They met in Libyan prison and from there decided to found this organization in order to raise awareness and then help young people, save them by sharing their stories, advocating for their empowerment so that they will avoid going to Backway. So it is a legally registered organization in 2017.
When it comes to this organization, just like you mentioned, it's an organization that raises awareness. What inspired the form of the organization?
Well, basically, what inspired the organization was the journey itself. Because when we embark on the journey, we see many difficulties that we never knew about, and difficulties that many people are facing there. So when we find ourselves in prisons, we decide to say, okay, now when we come back home, we believe that we have a very big role to play, and that is to make sure that we use our stories to advocate against this irregular migration and also to raise awareness so that many young people will avoid going to this back way. So this is basically our experience is the journey what basically inspired us to come up with this organization and also the advocacy itself.
What are some of the activities that you engage in to see that you are able to raise your awareness programs?
Well, some of the activities that we do, one of it is sport. We do sport anyway. We raise our awareness using sport, and we have different teams that we have, which we use football to make sure that we raise awareness. We also use drama and then poetry. Sometime in this advocacy we go with artists. Those artists will also, be used to share the message against irregular migration and also raising awareness. But aside from that, also we also do cleaning exercises. In this cleaning exercise, also we make sure that we engage the young people to make sure that they are also aware of what are the dangers and the risks that are associated with this journey, and also what are the potential opportunities that are here for them in the country. Aside from that, also we also use other means, agriculture, because we make sure that sometimes environmental challenges. We use these clean exercises to make sure that we also send the message that we want through any activity that we are organizing. So basically, this is what we do as an organization.
As a migrant, motivated your journey to take to the Backway?
Well, some of the things that motivated me to take the journey was the difficulties that I was facing when I was in the Gambia, and those difficulties was inability to fund my education at the University of the Gambia. So I feel that okay, I have to go to Backway, and then when I reach in Europe, I will now be able to sponsor my education and also help my younger ones. So this is basically the reason why I left the Gambia and then went on to Backway.
What was the journey like, your experience?
Well, the journey was very hard for me. It was not as I expected it would be, though I already know the dangers that were there. But I was also having no option. I just wanted to reach Europe and also achieve my educational dream. So it was a very hard journey for me. Honestly, it was a very difficult one for me because at some point I faced, extreme hunger. At some point I faced extreme torture. At some point I was also in prison, and then I, was emotionally, physically, and then mentally weak. So these basically were the challenges and the difficulties that really makes the journey very hard for me and regrettable.
What was the experience like after returning home?
Well, after returning home, it was a different experience because basically one of the things that I learned in this journey, the experience that I gained from this journey is really helped to save my future. Because one of the things that I learned is the survival skills, and that is being able to independently have a desire to independently work on myself work on developing myself, work on grabbing any opportunity that I see in the homeland, so that at least I'll be able to achieve my dream here. So this is what the experience was like to me. But then when I returned home, also it was a different situation. It was a different situation for me, because before, the challenges, when I go and I come back, I find the same challenge. And even the life back home was very challenging as well, because reintegrating, coming back to the society, normally going back to normal life with them was a very difficult, because most of the time people will see you as a failure, or they will start labeling you, and others will start telling you any kind of a names, and they will see you as somebody who just failed because you could not succeed in Europe. So it's a very hard experience for us anyway.
Was there any kind of programs or support system that supported you after returning home or during your journey coming back home?
Well, no, I did not have any support on my way home. I rely solely on family and then friends who help me to return back to my country. When I return home, also there is no program that I benefit from to make sure that at least I will empower myself and reintegrate successfully in society. But then, thanks to Youth Against Irregular Migration, I work with them, and then I came to the office, and then we sit together. They always give me the psychosocial support. They give me the courage, and then give me the ability to believe in myself, and then take the journey as a destiny that was meant to happen, and then have more confidence to work on myself and my dream.
What are some of the current activities that Youth Against Irregular Migration are working on? Implementing.
Well, currently we are working with our partners called Football for a New Tomorrow. These people, we have a project with them called Backway is not the solution. In this project currently, we have our regional chapters. In each of these regional chapters, we try to build their capacity. We try to have activities with them like community engagement. In this community engagement, we make sure that we engage the community, including the young people, the children, and the women, and even the elderly people, because migration is everyone concerned. But aside from that, also, we are currently in the project. Also, we are currently working on a radio program. Every month, we used to have 7 radio programs in every region. In these radio programs, we invite people, we invite institutions that have opportunities in their various institutions, and then for them to talk about the opportunities that are there, and then so the young people can also be aware and then grab them. But aside from that, also we are developing a policy. This policy is already in the process of development, and we want to develop this policy that will stand for the welfare, and then will at least echo the voices of the young people, their concerns, and then what they really want in their country. We have also done what we call institutional visit. In these institutional visits, we visit the institution to see what are the opportunities that are there for the young people, and how can young people grab these opportunities. So basically, in this project, this is what we have been working on so far, and then we have many more projects, many more activities that we are yet to do. But then basically, every year also, since we started this project, we do have what we call a migration camp. In this migration camp, we bring over 200 people from different regions from our chapters, and then they come together. We have different activities with them, entrepreneurship training, migration. We have training with them on different areas, so that at least we can build their capacity and make sure that they are also able to get the information that they need. They are also able to get the skills and then the knowledge that they need to at least survive in their homeland.
You are also a teacher, so how has your experience being a teacher influenced your advocacy work?
Yes, it make it very simple for me, because I interact with young people. I interact with students who come from different parts of society. So when I return from this back way, I am a poet as well. I always use my experience, write it down on poems, and I give it to the children. They will read these poems, and then also be inspired to write more and discourage people from going to this journey. So I use basically my experience in this journey in my teaching fraternity, and most of the time, some of these places that I went through, some of these experience that I have, they are very connected to the topics that I teach, and therefore I have first-hand experience, so it becomes very easy for me to at least explain and then know exactly what is there, and then bring the children to the picture. So basically, I am also finding it very easy with them, because most of the time I'm also able to have one-on-one discussion with some of them, and then tell them exactly what are the challenges that I face in the journey, what is there for them, and then encourage them to focus on their education rather than taking Backway as an option.
So can you explain or maybe narrate a scenario where Youth Against Irregular Migration has successfully influenced someone's decision going to the Backway, since you engage in raising awareness by engaging the youths?
Well, it is many anyway, because like I said, personally, I myself, the reason why I am today engaging on this advocacy, it is because of youth against irregular migration. There at some point of my life, I went to the journey, but then one of the main things that motivated me was that like what I have been hearing from them, the advocacy that they have been doing. So basically, having regional chapters and then having over 40 volunteers in every regional chapter shows the success that we have achieved so far. And basically, in this community that we have our regional chapters, we are able to get the stakeholders, we are able to get the alcalos in any event that we have. So basically, these help in changing the perception of young people and how some of them look back or see Backway as their only solution. So basically, looking at our activities, the success that we have, looking at the ability to get these the young people, to get the stakeholders, to get the village elders and so on in all our activities, shows that really we are making an impact that will be felt as time goes on, as it is also being felt as we speak.
What do you think push so many young people to take this risk journey to the Backway?
Well, one of the things that push these young people is lack of employment opportunities. Most of them don't have employment opportunities in their country, even though when the employment are there, but there are conditions that many young people doesn't meet. Some of these jobs opportunities that are here, the salaries are very low, so many young people cannot sustain themselves and sustain their families. But also aside from that, also some of the young people also educational challenges. Some of them will come from very remote areas. Some of them will come from very poor families. Their family cannot pay for them to learn skills or even further their education, and basically this makes them very very hopeless, and therefore will embark on the backway journey. Some also embark on the journey because of influence. You have your friend who went the backway, the person succeed, and you also deem it necessary to also embark on the same journey to succeed. So some of them have been influenced by their friends who successfully made it to Europe and their family members. But society also have a very big role to play. Most of the time, young people who are jobless or who have very little jobs or jobs that are not able to at least sustain them that much, people start to compare them with people who have been successful through this journey. And therefore, most of these young people, some of them, their family members are the same people that will encourage them, comparing them with other children in the neighborhood who are able to make it. And then that being the case, the young people, some of them will feel that, okay, I think for me to earn respect in my community and in my family, let me go succeed and then let me go to Backway and then succeed.
So, what do you think communities, government, individuals, parents can do in order to help these young people to influence their decision, make a change in reducing the fact that youths believe that Backway is the only journey?
Yes, for the government, I think they have a bigger role. The government have a bigger role to play in this, because number one, the government should create more employment opportunities, should make sure that they create the avenue where young people can thrive in their homeland. The government should create more facilities. We mean production factories that we know that will be able to employ thousands of Gambians. That will be so that they will avoid going to this back way. But also the government also supposed to embark on working with grassroots organizations that are also working on migration. The government have to work with migrant returnees to make sure that at least they can embark on awareness raising campaign, youth empowerment, not just on papers, not just on words, but also practically. So when the government empower the young people by giving them the jobs that they need, making everything accessible for them, basically the young people will stay and they will not go back go to back way. For the families also the same thing. The families have to understand that everybody can make it in one way or the other, and for that being the case, they have to understand the destinies of people. So basically they have to stop sidelining other people who are not able to make it either in school or in skilled, or some of them who are struggling a lot. So the communities can also play that particular role as well. But generally also the private individuals or the companies, they also have to take more young people in their jobs. Let them make sure they prioritize taking young people in any company that is in the Gambia, any construction company or any other factory here. Let them take the young people, the Gambian themselves, let them prioritize taking these Gambians to work for them, so that at least the young people will no more suffer and then go to this backway journey. So this is basically what most of people have a role to play on this one.
We have seen migration smugglers or what they call themselves. These are people that would take money from individuals, telling them that they are going to take them to Backway. Some of them can go and reach, but some of them we have seen that they don't go anywhere. They just stop them somewhere else and just run away. And we have seen that in the Gambia now it's becoming many. And some of them are not even Gambians. They're outsiders. What can you say about that?
Yes, that is truly happening. Some of the young people that sometimes we interact with, they tell us nice stories of how they were being scammed by these agents who will promise them that they will take them to Europe through the, the Canary Isle, through the Atlantic Ocean. So this, I believe, is a collective job because there is an immigration department responsible for those areas. The government have to make sure our borders are well secured, and they have to make sure that the security of the river also is very paramount in that area. So the government have to make sure that at least let them engage the young people. Let there be community policing to make sure that any information they are able to get, let them go up to let them find out, investigate until they reach to the tip of this. Because most of these people who scam these Gambians, they who scam the young people are not Gambians. And it's really sad that Gambians are not able to do it in other countries. So why is it possible that young people are being scammed by outsiders who promise them to take them to Europe when in the Gambia we can be able to cope that particular thing? Well, most of these people are not Gambian. So I believe the government have a role to play there, but also we the young people also have a role. Let us not trust anyone who tells us that we are going to take you to Europe, and let's not even think of going to Backway, because as an organization we believe it is not the solution, because what is achieved beyond the Gambia, what you can achieve beyond the borders of this Gambia, you can achieve it when you come to the Gambia.
Do you also consider maybe partnering with the Gambia immigration department, because these are people that normally they will always intercept boats that are trying to use the Backway route, so that maybe when they intercept you can also try, maybe at that moment that they have intercepted these people, you try to communicate with them to see how best they can also, if they will be able to listen to you and understand that the reality is not that through going to Backway is the only solution.
Yes, we are happy to say that we have been working with the immigration department. In most of our activities, we sometimes have them on board. And the time we were developing a policy, we were able to have, we write to them and they provide us with their officer, Inspector Alkali Jamme. So he was with us and then he has been helping us in developing our policy. So we have really been working with them, but we want to at least establish a more partnership with them, a rigid MOU, which will enable us to work with them when we have tips when we have anything regarding to migration, or when there are boats of migrants that have departed and they're able to detain these people and then return them back home. We have that communication, we have the misunderstanding, so that we can get these people, work with them, reintegrate them successfully in the society. So that we will really appreciate working with them, but we are also trying our level best to make sure that we have this partnership with them put on the paper, but then whenever we need them, we are able to get them in one way or the other.
We have seen that people will use the Gambia as a transit route to go to the Backway. Outsiders, they will come to the Gambia here to use it as a route for them to go to the Backway. Why do you think that people are using Gambia as a transit route for them to go to the Backway?
You're right. Gambia, our river is with the Atlantic Ocean, the Modou River, and for that being the case, this is basically one of the thing why people come to the Gambia anyway, because you can use the river Gambia to go to Europe and then it's direct anyway. So most of these people, the agents, will take that opportunity to come here and then use our coastal areas and then go to Backway. But I also believe that some of the security lapses there are the reason why most of the time people also take the opportunity to come to the Gambia, use it as a transit country, which shouldn't be. So collectively, I believe we can bring an end to that one.
What will you tell someone who is considering using the Backway route?
Well, as a survivor, I will tell them that let them not even think about it, because Backway is not the solution. The challenges that are there are very huge. The difficulties that are there, you have 75% of chances of losing your life, and then you have very few chances of reaching Europe. So basically the energy that you put there, the suffering that you will endure there, the money that you will put in this journey, if you put all together in all these efforts together in your country and then focus on one thing, you can really make it here, because the out there is never easy. It's very difficult, and then you might risk losing your life, and I don't think there's anything that worth one's life in the just to reach Europe.
Looking back from your experience, what has been your biggest lesson that you learned from your journey?
Well, one of the biggest lessons that I learned from the journey is survival skills. I learned to be patient, because to be patient, to endure challenges no matter what they are, no matter where they are. I learned to endure any kind of a challenge I have, learned to get the courage to focus on myself and I focus on building myself, also to believe in what I can do as an individual. So the lessons I learned there are huge, and then they are the one that guided me to focus on myself, and then have the discipline and then patience. Before I can say I've never been in the Gambia, sit down for one day without eating. But then when I embark on the journey, I have the patience to, sit down for that particular number of days without eating, but also to endure any kind of a challenge that comes my way. So basically, the lessons I learned there were not anyway, were not easy lessons, and they were bitter lessons, but they helped to save my future anyway.
Do you also try maybe engaging as an organization? Do you also engage maybe embassies whereby these migrants will be living in these particular places to make sure to help them in making sure that they come back to the Gambia safely, and you try maybe engaging them when they come back?
Yes, as part of our institutional visit, we target visiting embassies, and as we speak, we have reached out to the Moroccan embassy, and we are trying to deliver with them to have a discussion with them so that at least we can partner with them and see how best we can be an intermediary between the migrants who are there and their family members, so that we can provide them with data and then information that will help family members of the Gambian migrants who are there to locate them and then be able to reunite with their family members. So this is basically what we are doing as an organization. But I've also been working with we've also been working with other organizations when according to our activities. Sometimes when we have activities and we deem necessary to work with one or two organizations like the Red Cross, we do invite them and then at least implement our activity on that particular area. But also we consider working with the embassies more and then the foreign affairs, because we believe the Gambians out there, it is only through the embassies and then of those countries and through the help of the Gambian government through the foreign affairs ministry that we can also have access to help those people make sure that they reunite with their family members. So we have the plans to work in with them, and we are exploring all means possible to make sure that we reach out to them, have the partnership with them, so that at least the Gambians can trust us, rely in us, so that we can help them to locate their family members. We can help to at least fight for the welfare of the Gambians who are, in the journey.
Sometimes youths in the Gambia here, it's very difficult to convince them. So what are some of the challenges you encounter when trying to engage them?
Well, when we try to engage them, some of the challenges that some of them will tell us, okay, what do you have for us? Basically, you are discouraging us, you are telling us not to go to Backway. But what Backway can provide us with, provided we succeed, you cannot provide us with that. And then this is why in our project we consider visiting institutions to know what are the opportunities there. So that when young people ask us, what do you have for us, we can always refer them to those opportunities that are in different institutions in their country. But also some of the people, they disregard our message, because most of the time, sometimes we talk to young people and they will tell that you went to Backway, you don't succeed, this is why you are here discouraging us. Allow us also to try our chance, and when we try our chance, probably we may be successful. So this is basically some of the challenges that we are getting out of it. And most of the time also the message Backway, most of the it's a household name anyway. But sometimes getting the people, most especially stakeholders, to discuss this, to put it to put a topic of discussion in the National Assembly, in the televisions, in the newspapers, it becomes a very difficult thing. And then that's what we want. We want, any information about irregular migration, let it be, discussed, let it be brought to the table, let it be brought to the stakeholders, so that at least we can be able to solve those particular problems. So basically this is the challenges that we are facing, but also resources. We wish to reach out to every community in the Gambia, but we have constraint in terms of resources, and this is what makes our work sometimes very difficult. We render our service on voluntary basis, and therefore it's sometimes difficult for always to do what we want. We do wish to have many activities on board, but then basically sometimes the financial and the resource constraint is what deny us from having them.
Just like you mentioned, some of these people will tell you that it's because of you went to Backway and you didn't succeed. That's why you are discouraging us. As a Backway returnee, how does that make you feel?
Well, sometimes it pains us because we only wish that they know what is the reality we face there, which make us to return back to the Gambia. We wish that they never pass through these activities, some of these cruel activities that we pass through. So sometimes it pains us a lot, because imagine you survive, you come back home, and you're trying to at least raise awareness, let the person know what you have faced, just to make sure the person doesn't fall into the same trap that you fall into, and then the person doesn't give you any attention. Or sometimes you will talk, and then when you pass, when you go out, and then that's the end of the message. So basically it pains us a lot. But sometimes also understand is the mindset, like many of us, sometimes before we go, personally I knew some of these dangers, but I say maybe I will not face the dangers, let me go. But immediately when I step on the journey, I even face more than what some of these people were telling me. So basically it pains us when we try to let the people know young people know what are the difficulties there, and so they will not see the difficulty, but they only see one thing, which is the positive side of those who succeeded and not the negative side of those who die in the journey.
How was it like for you? Is it that your organization did not aware of you going through the Backway, even despite the fact that you are speaking or you are preaching against irregular migration?
Well, basically, before I go, I have been participating in their activities, all where they raise awareness. I also take part because by the time they came to our school, I was a student that they mentored, and then I began writing poems against at least raising awareness. But it went up to an extent that after more than 4 years of my advocacy, after more than 4 years of trying to at least have one thing, to achieve one thing, that is a university degree, I just feel hopeless that I have knocked many doors and all of them did not open. So I also said, let me try my chance. Despite the dangers that are there, I knew the dangers that are there. So I said, let me just try my chance. Probably when I succeed, I can be able to at least help myself. It sounds ironical to some, but then it was a situation that I myself, find myself very helpless, and then I see no other thing at that moment that can help me to at least go out of this situation until and unless I go to Backway, succeed, and then come back home. So basically this was how it was like to me. But like I said, coming back home gives me an opportunity to also be a fully bona fide member who will use his story now and then advocate, not now listening to stories of people and then relating them to other people, but now coming out from my own experience. So this makes me a true advocate when I returned.
Tell us something maybe that your organization has done for an individual or a group of people that have went to Backway, came back and contacted you guys.
Well, like I said, our organization is open to young people and we invite migrants. So what we do is that the first thing that we can do as of now is rendering psychological support, psychosocial support, because most of the time when migrants return, some of them when they reach out to us, we try to make sure we bring them to office, we discuss with them, we are one family, we went through what they have went through. So we put them in that family situation. Other people will not understand them, but those of us who went to Backway, we can understand each other. We can understand the stress that is associated with it. We can understand the challenges that are associated with it. And therefore, we help to calm them down and give them the psychosocial support for them to reintegrate successfully in society. But also out of it, also in our membership, where sometimes we have potential migrants and even migrant returns, we help to build their capacities. Some of them, we help them to at least go and then do some IT classes, some of the English proficiency classes, so that they can at least be able to at least work on one or two things on their towards their dream. So we have also done that in that particular area of our advocacy, but also we empower them, because basically I, as a member of Youth Against Irregular Migration, I have learned a lot of skills that help me in my work and that is helping me in my life, and that is the public speaking. I also learn skills, some of these skills, from them. And currently as I speak, the organization is sponsoring two of us for us to study IT and then financial management, and basically that is an empowerment that we are doing. And when we hope to empower more and more migrants beyond just our members and but then everybody. But also happily during our institutional visit, we have reached out to certain institutions that also promises that when we have our members or when we have anybody that want to do one or two things, want to study certain things, they can really help us to have those members being enrolled in their institutions. And that is basically why we are calling on young people to join us, so that these institutions that we visited, the opportunity that they tell us and the priorities that they give us, we can always make sure that the members benefit from it. So this is what we are doing to help organizations, migrant returnees. But part of our future plans, we want to have a big camp, where a big camp of reintegration camp, where we'll have supporting facilities, where we will have medical facilities, where we will have, so many facilities there that will help to reintegrate migrants, so that any migrant who come back to Backway, before even you go back to your families, you come and then sit with us, and then we can undergo through reintegration support with you that will at least help you in one way or the other. So this is basically what we want to do in future.
That Gambia will sit one day and say that migration is not happening anymore, like going to Backway.
Well, I would say no to that. When I embark on the journey, I basically, with the things that I see there, I concluded in myself that Backway will never stop. As long as the challenges of African countries continue to exist, Backway will never stop. We can minimize it, but we cannot step back. We cannot stop Backway, because one of the reasons, like Europeans find it very easy to come to Africa, and Africans find it very difficult to go to Europe. So that alone, that restriction alone in terms of traveling makes the Backway to be the only option for many young people. But also the challenges of African countries, the challenges that the youth are facing in African countries is the reason why many young people are going, and that's the reason why many young people see Backway as their only option. So as long as the challenges of young people, unemployment, lack of opportunities are persisting, Backway will never stop. For the Gambia itself, I think we are a nation that can come together, the government, the private sector, individuals, philanthropists, and the international organization. When we come together and then empower the young people directly, I think the Backway can be minimized but cannot be stopped.
Your last words to Gambian youths as we close the interview.
Well, my last word to them, I am advising them to focus on building themselves, to focus on acquiring skills, to focus on their education, so that they will avoid this Backway. Let them never sit at any point of their life and then think that Backway is a solution to some of the problems that they are facing. So I'm advising, every young person there, focus on building your dreams, focus on building your dreams in your homeland, focus on acquiring skills, knowledge, so that at least you can help yourself to get what you want in the Gambia, and never have this mindset of going to Backway as the only solution to your success. But also to those of our colleagues who are also in the journey, we are also, praying for them. Basically, as an organization, we pray that they find, solace there. We pray that they are able to, come back home and then, reunite with their families for those who want to come back home. And those who successfully make it to Europe, we are just reminding them that, let them know the reason why they left the Gambia. They have to know that they have families here, and let them use their efforts and whatever they have to discourage other people from going to this Backway. So this is our message to the young people there, that Backway is not the solution to any problem that you are facing. So stay home, believe in yourself, let's build our country together. Because when all of us, the young people, go to Backway, there will be no future for the country.
Abaraka bake Modou Ceesay badin jibe dal kanga fale nyame rek Gambian Talents TV al bole jibe kan alla yud Bantaba sholeng me yalon ko doron ni fondin kelle ka kacha ni na kol me yalon ko e bolle ke kan kaje ko na sate sitanu nyaato nyame a Modou Ceesay itol ye organization soto ye kafo le soto kafo me yalon ko itol kam men kele wala fondin kella a Backway tani amu fenti me yalon ko akuma yata bagel kan to ngajele a bitilo la fondin kelo mantara mudun kan kuma e kam men jere wala katani Backway kan to jigi ko wadamale silode men sadi nono ise ku soto no nyame ke la family bondi ibe batal men kono bari fanan ka men fo doron wolen ko ni we Gambia jang e ka bata men take Backway ka munyo men ta ye ni ya munyo fanan ta Gambia jang asike no ala se demano ye ku soto men yalon ko ilafta wala ala baraka bake atol men yalon ko tolle kamul jibe Gambian Talents TV le tele bale nun jambi Ami Diallo anina camera le di memu Adam Jenti ala baraka bake